Hello everybody, I am Mrs. Poppet and this is my place. Welcome back. I'm so glad we're going to share another story time together. Today's story is called Kuzma and the Fox. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it is a very good story, so let's get started. Kuzma and the Fox. A farmer and his wife had a son named Kuzma. He was a good boy, but he was lazy. He just wouldn't work. One day his mother said, "That boy is useless. Maybe he'd be happier if he lived alone." His father agreed. He made Kuzma a cabin in the woods. He gave him an old horse, 5 chickens, and a straggly rooster. There Kuzma lived all by himself, alone in the woods. A fox came by one day and smelled the chickens. When Kuzma went hunting, the fox sneaked into the cabin. She gobbled up a chicken and ran off. When Kuzma got back, he missed the chicken and wondered who had taken it. The next day he went hunting again. He met the fox. Smiling sweetly, she said, "Going hunting, Kuzma?" "Yes, I am," said Kuzma. "Have fun," grinned the fox. When he'd gone, she ran into the cabin. She gobbled up another chicken and fled. Kuzma came home and saw that he had lost another chicken. "Can Fox be the chicken thief?" he wondered. The next day he locked his doors and windows before he went hunting. He met the fox again. Smiling sweetly, she said, "Going hunting, Kuzma?" "Yes, I am," said Kuzma. "Have fun," grinned the fox. She ran to the cabin and tried to get in, but the doors and windows were locked. "I'll slip down the chimney," she thought, and down the chimney she went. Kuzma was hiding nearby and had seen everything. He knew the fox couldn't leap out of the chimney. "Now I've got you," he cried through the keyhole. "Your game is up, thief." "Please, good Kuzma, don't kill me," cried the fox. "If you spare my life, I'll make your fortune. You'll never have to work again. All you have to do is pay me in advance for my help. Cook me one of your chickens in good fresh butter." Kuzma thought for a moment, and then he said, "Well, why not?" He fried a chicken and fed it to the fox. She gobbled it up. Then she said, "Beyond this forest lies the kingdom of King Thunderboom and Queen Lightning Zip. Their daughter is the world's best princess. She's beautiful, she's rich, and she's going to be your wife." "What? No princess would marry me," said Kuzma. "You'll see," said the fox. "I give you my word." Fox ran straight to King Thunderboom's palace. She went in and bowed low. "Greetings, wise King Thunderboom. Greetings, fair Queen Lightning Zip," said the fox. "Greetings, little fox," said the king. "What do you want?" "Simply this," said the fox. "I have come to arrange a marriage. You have a fine girl, and I can get her a good husband." "Why didn't he come himself? Is something wrong with him?" asked the king, amazed at the boldness of the fox. "He can't leave home just now," said the fox. "He's much too busy. He rules all the wild animals and has to keep an eye on them." "A ruler of animals is a strange kind of son-in-law," said the king. "But let him send me 40 times 40 wolves, then I'll consider him as a husband for my daughter." Fox went to the timberland at the end of the woods. She began to stagger and sing and hiccup as if she had eaten too much. Presently a wolf saw her and said, "What dinner you must have had." "Yes," said the fox, "I ate too much at the king's annual animal banquet. Why weren't you there? You never saw so much fine food and so many animals eating it." "I love parties," said the wolf hopefully. "How about taking me there?" "All right," said the fox, "but the king's cook won't cook for just one supper. He cooks only for crowds. Tomorrow at noon, bring 40 times 40 wolves here to me. We'll go to the palace together. What a feast we'll have!" The next day the great band of wolves assembled in the forest. Fox led them to the king, lined up in rows of 40. "Noble king," she said, "here are the wolves. Count them. Your future son-in-law sends them to you with his respects."
"Thank you," said the greedy king. "Put them in my stockyard. I see my future son-in-law has first-class fur animals. Why doesn't he send me as many bears?"
Thereupon Fox ran into Kuzma's cabin and said, "I'm hungry. In order to succeed, I must look well fed. Fry me another chicken and fresh butter, please." When the fox had gobbled Kuzma's chicken, she ran to the king's side of the woods. She sang and staggered and hiccuped as before, and before long a bear came up and said,
"You look mighty fat and well fed. Where have you been?"
"I've just left the king's animal banquet," said the fox, licking her chops. "What a feast! It's still going on."
"It is?" said the bear hopefully. "Can bears go too?"
"With me they can," said the fox, "but the king's cook only cooks for crowds. Meet me tomorrow with 40 times 40 more bears. I'll lead the way to a real feast." The next day the bears were waiting. Fox led them to the palace and lined them up outside in rows of 40. Then she went in and said, "King, the bears are outside with your son-in-law's respects."
The bears were put into the stockyard. "Bears and wolves are very good," said the king. "Now how about some nice mink? Let him send me 40 times 40 mink, and I'll announce the engagement right away."
Fox ran to Kuzma's cabin. "You have to feed me again," she said. "I can't look skinny if I'm to make your fortune." Kuzma fed her the last chicken and the scraggly rooster as well. Then Fox ran to the river on the king's side of the forest. She staggered and sang and hiccuped as before, and before long a mink showed up and said, "You look as if you've had too much to eat." "Indeed I have," said the fox. "I'm so full of trout I can hardly walk." "Trout," said the mink. "They're hard to get just now." "Not at the king's banquet," said the fox. "The wolves and the bears and everybody are gobbling trout by the ton." "Why wasn't I invited?" asked the mink. "It's not too late," said the fox. "Come and celebrate the engagement of the king's daughter. Meet me tomorrow with 40 times 40 more mink. We'll go to the feast together." The next day the king was richer by 40 times 40 mink. When they were safely in the stockyard, the king said,
"Tell the young man to come tomorrow. The engagement is official, and he is invited to dinner."
The next day the fox, looking busy and important, said to the king, "My master begs to be excused. He couldn't come today."
"Why not?" asked the king.
"He wants to give you half his gold. He's getting it ready, but he has nothing big enough to measure it with. He wants you to lend him a dozen bushel baskets so the work will go faster."
"Baskets?" gasped the king. "Yes, I'll lend him the baskets." He was tremendously impressed by anyone with gold enough to measure by the basket. The next day Fox ran again to the palace. She said, "King, your son-in-law will arrive today. He's decided to bring all his gold. Then you may take whatever you want of it." The delighted king arranged for a big reception. Fox ran to Kuzma's cabin. "This is it," she cried. "You're going to marry the daughter of King Thunderboom and Queen Lightning Zip. Hurry up and get ready." "Are you sure you're not crazy?" said Kuzma. "How can I visit a king? I don't even own a good suit."
"Forget that," said the fox. "Saddle up your old nag and bring along a saw. Leave the rest to me." Kuzma obeyed. He trotted behind the fox until they came to a bridge over the river near the king's palace. See the pillars that hold up the bridge? Fox asked. Go and saw them almost through.
Kuzma sawed away. Soon the beams cracked and the bridge crashed into the river.
Now, said Fox, undress. Send your horse home. Let the river wash away your clothes. Stay in the water till you're blue with cold. Then climb onto that rock out there in midstream and wait for me. It's the last work you'll ever do, I promise.
Kuzma scratched his head, but he obeyed. Fox ran to the palace screaming, Fire! Good king! Help! Horror! What tragedy! All is lost! He's drowned! What's the matter? Cried the king.
You know the bridge that leads into your kingdom? It's gone! It fell into bits under the weight of your son-in-law's gold. He fell in the water. Gold, horses, servants, himself. All are lost, panted the fox.
The king was horrified and ashamed that his bridge had caused so much trouble. He sent servants with piles of dry clothing to look for his son-in-law. The servants found Kuzma shivering on the rock. They got him ashore, rubbed him warm, and dressed him in royal garments. When the king saw Kuzma, tall, handsome, well-dressed, and still alive, he welcomed him warmly. He apologized for having failed to make a special bridge strong enough to carry gold, horses, and many servants. Graciously, Kuzma forgave him. Bells rang, cannon sounded a salute. Everyone cheered, and Kuzma married the king's daughter. From then on, Kuzma lived gaily with his delightful wife, his father-in-law's delightful palace. Fox came to court to stay, and Kuzma fed her chicken fried in fresh butter until the end of her days.
What a delightful story. This young lad learned that sometimes you have to trust others to help you make your dreams come true, and by trusting Fox, he was able to get exactly what it is he was hoping he would get, a beautiful wife in a beautiful castle whom he loved with all his heart. And it took just the little fox some would not have trusted because he had been stealing from him to trust one time to make it all happen. Anyway, have a wonderful day and I will see you next time.